Let me just say that shulkers are infuriating to work with. I'm going to have to go through that process all over again. Fortunately, I do feel like I have a very good system worked out, especially with the bedrock being cleared off of that end portal gateway. So that should make things a little bit easier when returning to that task, but I'm going to have to take a break from that for a day or two before attempting to re-tackle that, especially because I need to get a shulker from a much less opportune portion of that end city. So I'm having lots of fun. But to kind of get my mind off of that, I did work on a brand new project over here, which is doing quite well, actually. So let me kind of walk you through my thought process on this. So this, of course, is a kelp farm. And the way that I have this kelp farm set up, if we dive in and take a little bit of a look, is of course we have kelp growing at the bottom down here. And I could probably have made this a little bit shorter, but this works decently well for what I'm needing it for. So we've got a row of pistons down here at the bottom that will knock off the second layer of kelp. And then all the way up here at level 20 or growth level 20 for that kelp, they will interact with these observers. And once one of them interacts with an observer, it will trigger every piston down here at the bottom and allow the large amounts of kelp that have grown to kick out and be pushed over this way by these source blocks, where they then fall through the fence gates, bash up against this wall, and into the collection chain hopper that's down here below. Once they're down, they will be auto-funneled into a pair of smokers that will quickly and efficiently cook up the kelp into its dried format. And then I have a crafting table right here that will allow me to craft that up into blocks, because kelp blocks are 2.5 times as effective as coal. So this will effectively become my replacement fuel source for all of my smelting projects. And that is going to be very, very helpful, because this cactus farm is running away with its productivity. We have this chest is now where we're getting into, and that includes this hopper and this hopper with their fill rate, and you can hear them popping up above and continuing to funnel down into this area. I'm going to need to modify the entry to this area a little bit based off of where I have these this redstone, but just to kind of give you an idea of the redstone line, I do have this feeding up and running along the backside of this farm, and then you got a glimpse of it up top where it connects to the backside of those observers. So that does very well for what we're needing it to do. Again, I'll just need to push the entry to the cactus storage over this way. And once we have a decent amount of kelp, we will be able to blitz through the smelting of cactus quite efficiently as well. I don't know if that works in a smoker or not. If it does, well, that'll just make things all that much easier. One other thing that I've done has been over here, and yeah, you've already seen what it looks like to be dug out, or the process that was there, but you'll notice that I have done a little bit more depth and texturizing. It's nothing super advanced, but it allows for a little bit more of open spaces around here instead of just a large chunk error. I'm going to have to come through and bring down a bunch of these trees and then plant some more up so they grow back in. But now you have more of a sloping hill that works its way up instead of just being one tall little section. And I'm really hoping that we can start building this project soon because it's going to take me a minute to complete. Part of me wishes that I had turned Enderman griefing off, but then I wouldn't be able to see interesting things such as this guy right over here. I call this my pet Enderman. I haven't given him a name as of yet, but he's been stuck here for the better part of a week and a half, going on 2 weeks. And I think he's holding onto a block, and you can tell that based off the orientation of his arms where they're kind of held out in front of him. But for whatever reason, he's just kind of stuck there, and he can't get out of where he's located. So he's just my localized Enderman in a hole for now, which makes this and in addition to the 2 glitched arrows that I have up here in my bamboo, quite interesting. So this castle build that we highlighted in our last episode has come along quite nicely. It's still unfinished, and there's some more detailing that needs to be done. But I do believe that the addition of the carpet on the underground here has really helped to control some of the mob issues that have been happening. Of course, there is still more that needs to be done, but that can be worked through, and I assume will be worked through by the builder in due time. But that's not the only new thing around here. As a part of, or possibly independent from, the castle being built, the members of the server have decided that there's a need for a little bit more order, which I agree. As much as I'm the admin of the server, I haven't been overseeing a lot of the finer tuning things. So in lieu of the castle being built over here, there is also a request for a king, or a kind of a diplomatic process of electing a king. And there are a couple of candidates that are currently here. We will need to cast our ballots later on this week, but the candidates have some time to declare their bid for sovereign control as well. And I personally will not be throwing my hat in that ring. Again, I'd like to give other people an opportunity to interact with that. But it is something to be aware of, and other creators will certainly be making videos detailing that as we come around. And unfortunately, from the most recent escapade, there is a Shulker that has found his way down to this portion of the Nether, and that's just kind of unfortunate because, well, there's not a way to get him back up onto the Nether ceiling as far as I'm aware. So we're going to have to start over from scratch here. And again, that's an unfortunate byproduct of this whole process, but we will have to start over with that. But in the meantime, maybe I can get myself some additional shells out of the deal from this guy, since he's not going to end up going anywhere useful. So unfortunately, before we attempt this again, we're going to have to fill in a solid chunk of this area. But that is a project for another time, for sure. But it's been a long day of grinding out projects, some with more success than others. So I think I'm going to call that for today, as I've got a lot of editing ahead of me. But thanks again for watching. If you're enjoying this series, again, please feel free to hit that like button. Subscribe for more daily content. It's not all Minecraft, but you just might enjoy some of the other stuff that I do. And make sure you check the links for the other collaborators in the description down below, as they're doing wonderful things as well, and you're sure to enjoy their perspective on the events taking place across the server. But until then, thanks again for your time, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye.